Hi there. Thank you for tuning in to Grow Your Gifts. Today's topic is why not yell and what can I do instead? Um, yeah, I have a lot of experience with yelling from my childhood and then as an adult in my very intimate relationships in my personal life. It's a cycle. And we're all sponges when we're children, right? So we get to kind of see what we sponge, My siblings definitely didn't yell like I did. So I was a expert in yelling. Let's put it that way. And I get it, you know. It's like you love so deeply, especially with these people you've known your whole life or your very intimate relationships, and that's why you're so passionate. It's like, I love you so much. Why aren't you getting this? And there's so many other factors. That's how it was for me. And I can't imagine, like, as well, when you're the parent and it's your baby, and then they're getting older, and then they're, doing things that boggle your mind. And, there's so many things going on and so much on your plate. And it's like, yeah. So if you yell, you yell. Give yourself a break. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Um, so, just for me, for my personal journey, I stopped yelling when I wanted to stop. That's what it came down to. And let's be honest, let's be real. When I was done and I was like, I am done. I can't do this anymore. Like, this is so exhausting. This is so tiring. I don't like who I am when I'm like this. I don't like how I feel. I don't like spiraling out over and over. I don't like apologizing over and over, even though I was very sorry and I felt remorse. It was like, okay, I'm done playing this record on repeat. I don't want to do this anymore. I was like really done. So that's been my experience. I'm sure it's different for everybody. And some people yell and they don't have loving intentions. So it's important to discern as well that, well, no, this is just abusive and I need to take measures and actions to protect myself and those around me. But if it's like this person's clearly spiraling out, uh, still don't take it, but there's ways to draw boundaries in loving, kind ways, when they're calm, and not feed into it in the moment. Just observe. Sometimes just the power of observation when you see someone spiraling out like that and you're just quietly witnessing what's going on, um, can help that, like, hold, a metaphorical mirror up to them, and that simple you connecting with your breath and your presence kind of mirrors back to them. It kind of creates an echo chamber because they're like, oh, nobody's reacting to me, nobody's anything to me, and I can hear myself, I can see myself. Like, it doesn't happen right away or overnight, but slowly, slowly. And if it's too much for you, just walk away. I mean, you have every right to just remove yourself from that situation. And this is like adult to adults I'm talking about. But that's just generally. And then I wanted to just kind of really summarize and get into for children, and parents and children. And, any relationship, your grandparent, you're an auntie, or an uncle, uh, cousin looking after, young children in your family, and it can get to you. It can definitely get to you. And yelling seems to work in the moment. I yelled and it worked. For me, I remember being little and it felt like dropping bombs. Like, I'm not exaggerating. It was horrible for me, like literally horrible. Like, I'm that kind of person, that kind of personality. And yet I did it, as an adult with my intimate relationships. But uh, that was part of my healing work and my shadow work and my journey to stop that dysfunctional, toxic, inappropriate behavior. Because, like, for me, within myself and how I was doing it, because part of the healing process was remembering, which is like so hard work to do, because you have to really open those layers of your heart and feel and remember what it felt like. I just remember run, scatter, get, go hide somewhere. Like, I don't want to be here. Like, it worked in the sense that, we weren't bothering that adult anymore, like bothering. And that adult got their peace of mind for a moment or whatever. So that's what it seemed like on the surface. But as a child, from a child's perspective, I was like, this is horrible. Like, I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable in my own home. Like, this sucks. So there's no reason to blame or go into that sort of situation. It is what it is. And people in my life have grown leaps and bounds, and I am so proud of them, and it's amazing. I don't even recognize, my family members sometimes now from who they were back then, because that's how much they've evolved and worked on themselves. So I'm very grateful. So why not yell? And what can I do instead? So let's get real clear about the why. And I like to act it out a little bit so you get a real visual of the extremes. So again, when it comes to communication, mostly it's body language, then it's your tone, and hardly ever it's your words. So I don't even care like what words I'm saying right now, because of I'm just giving an example. So if you're being really soft and you're like, can you just like do this? And I don't know why you're not listening. And can you like, oh my gosh, Jack, like, come on, like, get it together, Heidi. Like, can you, I don't know why you're not. I said no. I already said no. So that's too soft, okay? And then we want to go with intimidating. We're gonna get right in there now. Okay, so intimidating. Let me get my intimidation zone on. It's like, I told you, you need to do this, and you need to do it right now. Like, are you listening? Listen to me? Like, you're getting all up in their grill. All right, you're just like right up in there, and it's like, wow, how, like, you're an adult, that's a child, and you need to tower over them and like be this like oppressive presence, like, really? No judgment, I get it, you're like out of control, you're like, what do I do? Like, I need this child to cooperate, what do I do? Right? So you're like, my grandfather did that with me and it worked, so I'm gonna, and it's like, it's very like drill sergeant, but like not in a good way. I think there is a good way to be a drill sergeant, but that's just me. And it's just very like overpowering, like using your presence to intimidate. I don't know how else to say it. It's not nice. Not nice, no. So, okay, the balanced way, which does take practice, some mirror work, or even, recording yourself and watching yourself back, because then you can really see, if you have a full-length mirror, you can see your body language. So it's a little chilly today. So it's like really connecting to your breath, connecting to your core, and this is when you are in control of your emotions. It's a combination of like softness and firmness. Just kind of centering myself. And you're like, all right. So the kids are acting a fool, doing this, doing that. They've been going on and on. You've asked them nicely. All right, Jack. All right, Heidi. All done. There's no yelling. And, you're just, we are all done. That's it. Like, whatever words you want to use, you're going to have to figure that out. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So I'm not even thinking more about the words. I'm just whatever, I'm trying to show the balanced way where you are in control of your emotions. Miss Hema said, all done. And that's it. So I know some sign language. I know like 200 words in ASL, American Sign Language, and all done is one of them. Stop was another one. But for me, stop, was really helpful with, children with special needs, because they're like, some of them are in their own world and here and there and everywhere. And it's like, every time they got that, stop, and it was never yelling or anything, because, obviously it's my job. As a professional, I would never yell. You don't need to go there. And I've been given so many tools and techniques, and it's not my child. So I have that professional boundary. So this is definitely more for, this is like your family member. So you don't usually go stop with your typically developing family member. And even if you do with a child with special needs or autism or something, then you don't need to yell, really. And sometimes it helps to just, very lightly, gently, like tap them on the shoulder and say their name. Heidi, stop. Arjun, stop. And that's, again, if it's a child with special needs. Or a very young child. So just giving that light tap, it's like called requesting attention is how we were taught. So there's an appropriate way to request attention, because sometimes they can be all over the place, and just saying their name and tapping on their shoulder or their arm or something, or their hand, nicely, gently, and saying stop is, more than appropriate. But I'll get back to that word too, because I think that's an interesting one. So how do you do this when you, as an adult, as a parent, as the person looking after the child, are feeling overwhelmed in the moment? So a couple things you can, because the idea is you are in control of your emotions. It does take practice, but to help with that, and I've done this so many times as a teacher, right, as an educator, sometimes I would open a cupboard or open the fridge, and I would just take 3 slow, deep breaths, center myself, and it would help clear my head as well. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? We all need some deep breathing right now. So I just did exaggerated deep breathing in the moment. I was frustrated as hell, and I was like, ready to walk out of the classroom, which you can't do. And it's like, you got to do something, Hema. So I was just like and by the third one, and all the kids are looking at me by now, they're like, something's up. I mean, I know we were fighting, but it's not that bad, okay? She needs to chill. Okay, these are like preschoolers, toddlers, whatever. But they got it, and it really helped me, and it really helped them be like, wait, what? And I go back into reiterating what I already said very nicely multiple times, that we are sharing, and it's this person's turn and not your turn, and when that person's done, then it's your turn, or whatever the dispute was, right? That was not getting through to them in the gentle way. So that breath work really helps you, even if you do it big and exaggerated in front of the child, gather yourself. It helps you remember who you are talking to, what kind of relationship you want to build. And sometimes the individual is pissing me off so much. And what's really helped me in the moment, I'm like, picture them as a baby. Okay? This is a tough ride, this human incarnation, and we all go through the ringer. And that can bring out certain quirks and annoyances. And but when they were a newborn baby, they were innocent as anything. And everyone started out that way. And it really helped me to just, I would visualize whoever was pissing me off right then, to like picture them as a baby. So the more I did that, the more I was like, okay, I do have compassion for this person, and let me go from there after my, combined with the breathing and everything. So words, yeah, words really do help. When you write down and practice words and phrases in the mirror, recording yourself, that type of thing, instead of yelling things like, stop! I'm not gonna yell, I'm just gonna pretend, okay? Like, oh my God, like, frack. Okay, if you're a cool nerd like me, you know what frack means and where that comes from. Like, what the frack? You're so stupid. What a little ish. Like, just, I can't even do it because it's like, I'm not used to that. But, we've all been there in some way or another. Someone cuts you off in traffic. So, it's like these words, like, they can leave a lasting impression when your parent over and over is yelling, like, stop, stop, stop. Like, you'll see what I mean when I go on the other flip side. Makes a big difference. So, and at first it can be it's a learning curve. There's always a learning curve. So how it was with me, I went from, I tried the stop thing, but with typically developing children, I'd be like, stop, stop. And then they were like, what? What do you mean stop? Like, I don't get it. Like, they're just like, it wasn't clear enough for them. Even though I wasn't yelling, they were just like, what are you talking about? And that's the wiggle room. See, that's the other thing. They're so intelligent. They always try to find that wiggle room as well. So it's important to be clear with your words. So at first, I got a bit sassy, and with complete respect, I channeled my sassy black woman or sassy West Indian woman, and I say that with complete respect for all cultures and all women out there. This is just what I've observed from, my friends' parents and stuff, and I love it. But it wasn't working. But I will give you examples just so that you can see, like, my learning curve of going from, using maybe not the best words because it wasn't working, to playing around with different words, but like a different energy as well. So I'd be like, excuse me, did I stutter? And I would use the accent and everything. Did I stutter, boy? I don't think, excuse me? Get the head thing up, and be like, if you think I'm not serious, then go ahead and see what happens. Like, that's part of the journey. Like, I think you need to connect it to your own authentic, how do I set boundaries with this little one? And that was part of it. I have a real sassiness about me, but when I really would feel into it, another one was like, oh, get your act together, gal. So that was a fun one as well. But I really would feel into it. And for me, and the way that I used it, it started to feel condescending and arrogant. And my goal is not to put them down or to put them in their place. That was like the furthest thing from my goal. My goal was to build bridges and to help them see and help them feel the truth about themselves. So you can see I was not in alignment with my own self, thoughts, words, and actions in alignment. And children pick up on this. They really do. They're BS detectors. In one way or another, they won't respect it. So, yeah, that's what it came down to, is that it didn't really feel authentic to me. And I didn't want to keep using that super sassiness. So then what? What do you do? So other phrases, I mean, these you can look up online as well, but for me what was working was all done. All done. And there's so many ways you can say it without yelling. All done. And it's just like, you can see my whole smile, everything is gone. And I am channeling my inner soldier, and you know what? All done. And there's different ways of saying it, right? And another one is, I am serious and there will be consequences. There you have it. And I'll give another example. I have asked you nicely. Nice Hema is all done. We are doing this, end of story. And that is when you've shown them, like, okay, let's try this, let's do this. You did the gentle side, you did the nice side, you gave them choices. You try to let them feel autonomous and in control as much as is safe and appropriate given the time and surroundings and everything. And they're still acting like a little you know what. And that's when it's like, yeah, I have asked you nicely. It's not like I have asked you nicely now. No, no more sass. It's just, serious, get down to business, because they will tell if Miss Hema is serious or not. End of story. So, yeah, the essence from today's topic to me is self-respect. Yeah, it always comes back to the self. And, and I've said this before, like, I feel that you can only give to others what you're giving to yourself. So it's really integral to focus on, how do I speak to myself? How do I want to be spoken to? And the more, I figure out, especially when I'm acting up, and I do that a lot, I need to coach myself. I need to talk to myself in a certain way to push through certain barriers, or through certain challenges, or through certain laziness, or through certain, patterns that are just like not serving my best interests. And sometimes, yeah, allow myself the freedom to just relax and chill as well. So it's a dance, it's a balance and everything. But when I focus on, how do I speak to myself and how do I want to be spoken to, and then I look at the being in front of me and adjust myself to Heidi, or, adjust myself to Kieran, or whoever is sitting in front of me. Like, it's so important to, because if I'm like, I have asked you nicely, nice Hema is all done, and we are doing this, end of story. And I know that Heidi is like super sensitive. Like, sensitivity is a superpower, and I think that's a great gift that she has. And I'm coming in that strong, it's like, ugh. You can tell she's gonna be like, oh my gosh, what did I do? And I don't want to do that. I don't want that to be the effect. So I could say the same thing. I have asked you nicely, Heidi. Nice Hema is all done, and we are doing this. That's the end of the story. Got it? You know, you can add in my love, you can add in my darling, or whatever you want as a parent, you know, grandparent, uncle, auntie, that sort of thing. So I think that's so important to adjust yourself and go in even more serious and more firm. Um, you know, like really get in there for those kids who are not getting it. And then always, always, always back up your words, your what you said, like that there are going to be consequences, and make sure you have a game plan and give them appropriate consequences. That screen time is gone. That whatever is gone. Whatever their favorite thing is gone. You know? So that's why you're the adult and they're the child, and they are craving those firm boundaries. So it's okay to follow through with your actions, because if you're not, they're not going to respect it. It's just empty threats, it's just words, and they pick up on that too. So you got to pair it, always pair it with, this is what I said, now I better do something. And make sure all the adults in that child's life are on the same page and working as a team. So there's no wiggle room. I mean, they will find a way. They always do. Clever little cats, these children. So, yeah, it's, we all get it. Like, for parents, they love their children more than anything in the world. And, you know, it's such a blessing to have your children and your family, and you do anything for them. But, you know, at the same time, these things can have such a lasting impact on as they grow up into teenagers and adults, and how they interact with others and the world around them, you know, and their own internal dialogue. I think that's what it kind of comes down to, is that if this is something that's important to you and that you want to transform for yourself, the benefits are endless and huge. So, yeah, it's not an easy thing. Definitely not easy, but think about the benefits and the ripple effects. It's like, what? Possible ripple effects, let's put it that way, because you never know. You just never know what's coming around that corner. Uh, Wrap it up, signing off. Thank you. I wish you well.